Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming today. My name is Sergeant Jason Robillard. I'm a Media Relations Officer with the Vancouver Police Department. First, I have two media releases here to speak to you about. The first one is our investigation into a serious assault to a man in a wheelchair. Vancouver Police are investigating an assault in a Collingwood neighborhood that occurred just before 8 a.m. this morning. This has sent a man in a wheelchair to hospital with serious conditions. We're appealing to anybody with any information to please call our investigators. Just before 8 a.m., first responders were called to the underground parking lot of an apartment building on Cecil Street near Kingsway. This was for a man in a wheelchair with serious injuries. Our officers determined that the injuries were likely the result of a recent assault. The victim, a 44-year-old Vancouver man, was transported to hospital and remains in serious condition. No arrests have been made, and it's anticipated that officers will still remain in the neighborhood for several more hours today just to continue their investigation. Our investigators would like to speak to anybody who has dash cam video, specifically driving in the area of Cecil Street between Kingsway and Euclid Avenue between 7:30 a.m. and 8 a.m. this morning. Anyone who may have witnessed this assault or anybody with any information, including dashcam video, are asked to call our investigators in our major crime section at 604-717-2541. You can also call Crime Stoppers anonymously with your information at 1-800-222-8477. I'm free to answer any questions you have in regards to this investigation.
What kinds of injuries did he have?
We're not releasing that right now. It's still initial stages of the investigation. We are calling the injuries serious, and the victim remains in hospital.
Who found him?
I don't have that information, but I do know the original call went through to the BC Ambulance Service, who in turn called the Vancouver Police. We had our patrol officers attend for an injured man with the BC Ambulance Service.
When you say a parkade, is it a covered parkade or is it open?
The only information I have about the parkade is that it is the underground open parkade to an apartment building in that area.
Okay, so it's not necessarily one that residents in the building only have access to?
I don't have that. It's been described to me as an open parkade.
Any idea how many suspects you're looking for?
You know what, right now there's been no arrests made. It's a very active and ongoing investigation. We are appealing to anybody with any information to please come forward and call our investigators.
Surveillance in the area at all with a parkade like that?
We're still on scene and we're gathering evidence, information, and continue to try and put all the pieces of this together. And it's going to take some time to establish a clear motive in this. So we are working on that. We are trying to put it all together, and we are asking for help from the public to come forward with any information you have, including dash cam video, if you have cell phone video, or if you have any knowledge at all about this incident, to please call us. Sometimes people have information that might be to them considered insignificant or small, but to us it might be a big piece of the investigation. So we're asking you to come forward, even if you think it's insignificant or small, it could be big to our investigators. So please give us a call if you have any information at all. Thank you. I'll move on next to a recent missing person we're looking for. Mr. Sullivan, we're looking for Mr. Sullivan. He's a missing 61-year-old man with dementia and diabetes. Mr. Sullivan was last seen on June the 27th, walking on Alexander Street near Gore Street. He was reported to the Vancouver Police on July the 1st. He may be confused or disoriented, and he may ask for assistance if needed. David Sullivan is described as a white man with fair skin. He's bald, 6 feet tall, with a heavy build. He was last seen wearing a red and white checkered patterned shirt, shorts, and flip-flops. Mr. Sullivan is also known to wear a tag chain around his neck with his address on it. Anyone who sees David Sullivan is asked to call 911 and stay with him until responders arrive. We sent out a picture of Mr. Sullivan as well, and it's on our website. Thank you. I'll move on to any questions that you have that are unrelated to these two announcements.
Any update on the McIver homicide?
I do know that's an ongoing investigation, and I haven't been provided with an update or anything that we're sharing publicly at this time, but it is an ongoing investigation.
We have a number of suspects that we're looking for, because there one or multiple people.
We're not releasing much more than what we've already released in regards to this incident, but I can tell you that it is an ongoing and active investigation.
And just some clarification, last time, it was said that it wouldn't comment on whether it was targeted, but that the public wasn't at risk. Can you kind of explain what you mean by that?
What we meant by that is the information that this was an isolated incident that we believed at the time, but we're not sharing much more about that because it's an ongoing investigation.
Do police anticipate being in the area at all throughout the next week or so?
I don't have the any information about where our detectives will be, but I can tell you they are actively following up on leads and investigating this incident.
Does this affect any other investigations that you have going on?
I don't have any information about how this affects any other investigation other than it is ongoing, and once we have more information that we're able to share publicly, we will do so.
Was he known to police at all? Did he have any sort of record or?
I don't
coming
have
and
that
going?
information, and yeah, I don't have that information.
I have a couple questions regarding Richard Chu, found murdered in Colombia. He was a target of a number of police investigations. We're wanting to know if his death impacts any ongoing investigations, and also have Vancouver Police been contacted in regard to his death?
I'll have to get more information on this. I was just made aware of this morning. I'll have to get back to you with that information. I just don't have it at this time. Any other questions? Okay, thank you all for coming.